Hello there, my name is Mooseman, and today I will be informing you of whether you should play, wait, or avoid the chaotic bomb combat game, Bombernauts. As always, we will be looking at gameplay, aesthetics, value, and future potential before making a final verdict on the early access version of Bombernauts. Bombernauts is a multiplayer-only arena combat game in which your objective is to knock your opponents into the surrounding lava. You control a robot that has two primary moves, bomb throw and bat. Bombs will be your main form of offense, as they can both knock robots away and destroy the surrounding environment. You can lay multiple bombs at a time by pressing the button rapidly, but if you want to throw the bomb towards your opponents at any distance, you will have to hold the bomb button for longer. While bombs will be your primary attack, batting will be your primary defense. You can use the bat to hit bombs and other players away from you, in addition to hitting piñatas for power-ups. How far you hit your target is also dependent on how much you charge up your bat. Bombernauts is extremely chaotic and a bit overwhelming at first, but is a great amount of insane fun once you figure out what's going on. While the game's mechanics are simple overall, there's quite a bit of depth to the gameplay. Positioning yourself in strategic locations is the most important part of being successful, as killing other players requires you to knock them off the edge into the lava instead of simply hitting them with a bomb. The fact that bombs don't actually hurt you allows you to also use them strategically on yourself as well. Being able to bomb jump out of a bad situation can save your life, but knowing how and where to jump onto an exploding bomb is a maneuver that can go horribly wrong and end up throwing you into the lava if you don't time it perfectly. Holding your bombs for just the right amount of time to make them explode on impact can be the difference between your opponents batting away your bombs and being blown into the lava. While batting your opponent's bombs is pretty simple overall, batting your opponents physically is the equivalent of a fencing match. How long you charge up your bat combined with predicting your opponent's jumps and dodges is essential for being victorious in close range combat. Piñatas increase the depth of gameplay further by giving you a temporary one-use power-up that enhances either you or the bomb throw. The power-ups range from simply bigger bombs to increasing your speed or throw length to invisible mines and even to a baseball timer bomb that resets every time you hit it, but causes massive damage when it runs out of time. While death can happen very quickly in Bombernauts, you will still have a chance to win the round as a ghost. Ghosts can throw bombs from above the field at players still in the game. Although ghosts can only throw a single bomb at a time, if they manage to kill a player on the field, they'll be able to come back to the game as a zombie. This will allow you to get revenge on your killer, but due to the one bomb limit, it is incredibly difficult to get a kill this way. Ghost mode is a great addition to the game not only because it allows players to continue playing, but it also works as an anti-camping measure. One balance problem that I have noticed in Bombernauts is the strength of defensive play. Since the only score is based on who survives, it is entirely possible, although unlikely, to win a round without throwing a single bomb. The only actual advantage to killing someone is getting a power-up, and in general the power-ups are not worth the risk involved in aggressively attacking someone for a kill. This also highlights one of my criticisms on the power system, as most of the power-ups, while still interesting and cool to use, seem underwhelming in terms of the effect on the battle. Aggressive gameplay is also punished heavily due to the danger of blowing yourself up or getting batted into the lava at close range. This can result in some games taking a long time if two players are just content dodging ghost bombs from above instead of fighting it out since there is actually no timer. Bombernauts has an in-game map editor which can be used to create your own custom maps. These maps can be used online on servers that have custom maps enabled, so it allows you to create some interesting or unbalanced battlefields to fight on with your friends. The Bombernaut aesthetic and game overall was obviously inspired by the older Bomberman N64 titles. The graphic style is a purposely lower poly design with modern graphical effects implemented to make the game feel more recent. Unlike the Bomberman games, however, is the abundance of color that can be seen in the levels. While the liquid that kills you is considered lava at all times, each level varies in the color of the liquid and the color on the ground. The game also benefits aesthetically from its carefree and general bizarre theming. Baseball weapons, piñatas for power-ups, and sombreros being added to the last two players when the game becomes a standoff are just some of the things that help the game feel light and silly amid the intense battle. Bombernauts has a bit of a unique situation regarding the pricing of the game. The game is currently $9 on sale, with the regular price returning to $10 after August 7th, but you receive 2 copies of the game when you purchased it from the Steam store. There are positives and negatives to this way of pricing. On the positive side, it allows you to share the game with a friend. On the negative side, if you want to play the game alone or with friends who already have purchased the game, you end up paying for an extra copy that you may not use. Bombernauts being an arena combat game makes it almost essential to play with friends. The game is crazy fun, but reaches its full potential when you are screaming at your friends for taking sides or sniping you across the map. A single copy alone at $10 would be a completely fair price, so I consider it a positive thing that developers have decided to bundle the copies in this way. Lastly, there is also a 4-pack of the game that costs $18 this week and will return to $20 on August 7th. Game modes are the primary missing aspect of Bombernauts. Currently, there is only a free-for-all deathmatch available, and while having everyone beating each other up is fun, I think that Team Deathmatch could be even better as it would bring out the hidden depth in the game. King of the Hill is another mode that would be absolutely perfect for this game, as the amount of bombs and chaos would highlight the craziness of this game to its max. Also, while the robots can be colored, I would potentially like to see different customization options for robots in the future. Luckily, the developers at Eyebrow Entertainment have stated that both additional game modes and customization options will be added into the game as part of being in the early access state. Bombernauts is absolute crazy fun that shows off all the best features of arena-type battle games. As an early access game is extremely far into development, only lacking some additional game modes. Simple controls but with a great depth of gameplay and an extra copy included into the already fair $10 price tag make Bombernauts a great game that I recommend that you play with a friend if you're looking for chaotic, explosive combat. Thank you for watching my play, wait, or avoid review of Bombernauts. If you'd like to buy the game, a link to the Steam store page is in the description below. And if you'd like to see more of my content, subscribe and check out my channel where I do reviews, news, and other gaming commentary, such as my play, wait, or avoid review of Absolute Drift, a top-down Japanese-styled minimalistic drifting trials game, or this week's episode of PC Gaming News Weekly, where I talk about esports drug testing by the ESL, a Steam exploit that allowed anyone to reset people's passwords, and Solitaire on Windows 10 having a subscription fee.